I've said it more than a few times, but Game 1 of the World Series was proof that the Yankees cannot win with Aaron Boone as their manager.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I am one of your hosts, Stacey Gotsulias. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code Locked On MLB to win $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. With me as usual, my co-host Brian McKeon. Brian.
Got a lot to discuss.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to Locked On Yankees on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. We surpassed 7,500 before the World Series started. That was my goal. Thank you for that. We appreciate it. I have a weird thing with numbers, and I wanted to do that before the World Series started, so thank you. We have, no, that's something else, sorry. Click on the subscribe button, like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified when our videos go live. So the show's going to be about what we just witnessed, the disaster that we just witnessed in LA. There's a lot to talk about. We'll also preview Game 2 later on, but first we have to discuss what on earth was Aaron Boone doing in this game? What was
I don't want to say that Dave Roberts managed circles around him, because Dave Roberts didn't have a great game either.
No,
but the decisions made, I don't agree with your statement always that they can't win with Boone, because I think talent can supersede management sometimes, and you could just outslug a team and beat them. But managers can certainly lose you games. And this loss is on Aaron Boone. It is. I mean, we are not cursing on the show and not supposed to, but I mean, there are words beyond curse words that could describe how I feel about him right now. Let's just talk about the most glaring move of all. And there's a lot of managerial mistakes in this game, a lot. But bringing in Nestor Cortes, who, by the way, before we get into Boone, let's not excuse Nestor Cortes for throwing a pitch. I mean, in the most left-handed hitter sweet spot you could ever throw a pitch.
I could have hit that pitch, and I'm not left-handed.
I mean, low inside corner is where lefties feast. That's the exact same pitch Barry Bonds hit his record-breaking home run off of. Low inside corner. I mean, that's the kitchen for a lefty. That's besides the point, though. To bring in a pitcher who hasn't pitched in a month, who is hurt already, and to bring him in, not only just to bring him in, to bring him in over a lefty specialist that you have in the bullpen that is literally on the roster to face Shohei Ohtani.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of a dumber move. Why Nestor Cortes is on this roster as an innings eater.
Right.
Why would you bring him in the most important spot of the season? Coming off again, he'd be out for months if they weren't in the postseason right now.
Right.
Why would you bring him in a high leverage situation like that? It makes literally no sense whatsoever. And again, you got lucky with the Ohtani. Ohtani was up there swinging on the first pitch, and you got really lucky that he popped it out. Verdugo made an incredible play. Yeah. That dumb rule where if he throws it from out of play, doesn't really matter, because they were going to walk.
The catch and carry,
They were going to walk Betts anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Right.
And I agree with the move to walk Betts, actually. I do. Because Freeman's injured currently. He's got a bummed ankle. I don't hate that move at all. And it didn't wind up mattering because he hits a grand slam. Betts' run didn't mean anything anyway. But we've been talking about, I did 6 appearances on radio shows today around the country, podcast radio shows. Every single show that asked me, what's the key to the Yankees? One of my main keys was Tim Hill's appearances against Ohtani, because you're going to see that matchup multiple times, and he's a lefty specialist against Ohtani. It's going to matter a lot. You had the damn opportunity in game one, and you used Nestor Cortes.
And Hill wasn't even warming up. Hill wasn't even warming up. Where was he?
He was. He was next to Nestor.
Was he?
Yes,
okay.
He was. There were two guys in the bullpen, which also makes, if you're going to warm Hill up, why bringing in a starter there who's come out of the bullpen a handful of times in his career?
And it's not even that, though. What are they doing tomorrow? What if Rodon blows up? Then who's coming in as the long man? You're going to put Stroman in? Then, okay, great. You're going to be in an 0-2 hole now because you brought Nestor in.
You shot yourself in the foot is what you did. You shot yourself in the foot for tomorrow. Now you are forcing Carlos Rodon to shove tomorrow, to have an absolute elite start tomorrow, to save your bacon going back to the Bronx at 1-1. And the annoying part is you had this game. You had it.
Yes.
Now, by putting in Nestor and not getting out in this game also, you've exposed every single one of your elite arms in the first game of this series. Luke Weaver came in. Clay Holmes came in. Jake Cousins came in. Tommy Kahnle came in. You exposed every single one of your elite arms that you trust in the game one of this series. And if you win the game, whatever. But you lost. And you lost because of your manager. That is it. That is the reason you lost this game, because only an idiot would have brought in Nestor Cortes in that move. That makes it literally makes absolute no sense whatsoever to bring a guy in who hasn't pitched in over a month. It makes no sense. Again, if Nestor got hurt in June, he wouldn't have been back till September. He would have been out for the majority of the season with this injury. It's an injury that he's very close to Tommy John and going to blow his arm out soon. Why would you bring him in this spot? He is on the roster basically if a game is lost in the third inning and you need to get through the game to not blow your arms. That is the reason. Not to get a major out in the 10th inning with Freddie freaking Freeman up. And you got lucky with Ohtani. You did, because Ohtani popped out because he was swinging at the first pitch. You got super lucky with that. But I can't express how angry I am, because that move, it makes you literally have a lefty specialist on the damn roster. He's on the roster. What are you doing? Makes no sense whatsoever. This is so much more of a lower point, but I want to make this before you add on too. Why in the world was Gleyber pinch run for? Like, Gleyber's issue is not his running. If you put in Oswaldo to pinch to switch second base with him later on, that I get, because Gleyber's fielding did struggle this year. Gleyber's issue is not base running. And Gleyber's not a slow runner either. That made no sense. What made less sense than taking Gleyber out of the game to begin with is to put Dominguez into run instead of Cabrera. You burned two guys on your bench for no reason. I mean, it's a small move, and you don't really realize it made a lot of sense. And again, Cabrera makes the error in the ninth inning. There's no guarantee Gleyber makes that play, because Gleyber led the league in errors this year. So I'm not going to kill the move because of the error. But you're bringing in Dominguez, and it's debatable whether Cabrera or Dominguez, who's faster. You really don't know. They're both the same speed. But why kill Dominguez? Why kill his spot on the bench? You burned two guys off the bench to put in a pinch runner for Gleyber after you already took the lead. Why? It's like Boone made a move for this because he needed to get himself involved in the game. Because he made a move for the sake of making a move. There was no reason to make that move, and it's just like he needed to get himself involved. So here you go, I'm going to make a move. It made no sense. The game was horribly managed, really poorly managed, and now it's balls to the wall for game two, because you got to win to come back 1-1.
Right. I agree with this. Platypus 7. Jazz played great today, Judge. Well, all right, let's not call him trash, but
he had the base hit. His at-bats improved throughout the day.
I'm just getting annoyed with Judge, though, because he's coming up in big spots and not doing anything. Gets the base hit, no one's on base. Like, you gotta step up. Stanton can't be the only one stepping up here. And I hate that Stanton's home run is lost in all this because of this stupid loss by Boone, because what a home run by him. Flaherty's mowing him down, like, making them all look silly, and he knocks him out of the game. And you're thinking, okay, that's good. And yeah, it's another one of these. Now, I don't want people to think that them losing this game is going to mean that they're going to get swept and ruins the whole series. That's not
it's game one.
Because everyone thought after the gut punch in Cleveland that, oh no, things are going to be bad for the Yankees. And they came right back out. Soto starts it off with a home run in the first. So let's get that thought out of our heads. Was it a sucky loss? Because that's the only word I can come up with right now because it's 12 a.m. on Friday and I'm tired. Yes, it was. It sucked. It absolutely sucked. But the big reason for it, the manager making stupid moves at the end in the bullpen when you have the person that you should have put in there. I don't understand his reasoning. We're not watching the post game because we're doing this. So if anyone has Boone quotes that they want to put in the comments.
I can give you the quote. I love Nestor's stuff. I had confidence in Nestor. His stuff was good. He's going to give the same BS crap that he gives you all season. That's what he's going to give you. Like, we don't need to watch the post game because he's going to give you the same. And if they ask him about Judge's struggles, he saw the ball well. He had the base hit. We know what's coming. We know what he's going to say because he's all about, positive chatter and everything. Again, they can win a World Series with this manager. Sure, they can, but it's going to be by accident. It's not going to be because he won the World Series. He's an idiot. He's a bad baseball manager. And he's a great baseball guy from a great baseball family. And I'm really glad that he loves the sport. I really am. But he's a terrible manager. He is. I'm sorry. That's all there is to put it. He's a terrible manager that wanted to force his way into this game for no reason. For no reason. There was no reason to make the moves that he made, and he made the wrong moves when the right move was obvious and in front of your face. Putting in Nestor. What are you doing? The guy hasn't pitched in a month. He's on the roster to eat up innings.
You know what this reminds me of?
What are you doing?
This reminds me of Torrey putting Weaver in the game in the 2003 World Series in Miami.
Just to get involved. Or just to have yourself involved.
To all the old people who were around 20 years ago and who were cognizant 20 years ago, do you remember that stupid move that Torrey did that kind of turned that series around? Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. And I don't want to be reminded of that.
Thank God this loss happened now. And not in game 4.
Because I was watching the game with my brother and, he was upset about the walk-off. I was upset about the walk-off. And I said, but here's the thing. It's game 1. This wasn't game 7. There's still a lot of baseball to be played. They also burned through their pen. It's not as bad as everyone. Like, the final score looks worse just because of Freddie's grand slam, but they were neck and neck in this game. And that made me feel a lot better about it because a lot of people were talking about. No, I know it's a brutal loss, but I'm just saying that up until those horrible moves were made, the Yankees were, neck and neck, punch for punch against them, which makes me feel a lot better right now. So yes, the loss sucked. It was stupid. We don't know what was going through Boone's head, and he needs to be better managing. And I was hoping that Brad Ausmus would kind of help there, but yeah.
Another good point here.
Yes, he was the one who
he got shelled.
Yes, that was the 11-3 loss where Oswaldo had to pitch in the game. All right, we're going to move to segment 2. We're going to keep complaining about the game and we'll go through your comments and stuff. But vent. Don't curse in the comments though, but vent, use F and use S and do that. Like, censor yourselves. I'm going to be your mother right now. Just censor yourselves in the comments. But we're going to go through more of this first game of the World Series.
PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. And unlike on other apps, PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you can watch the winnings roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. Want to play PrizePicks alongside Drewski, Joe Budden, and MMA champ Sugar Sean O'Malley? You can now find community plays under the promos tab in the app to view entries from some of the biggest names in the PrizePicks community each week. PrizePicks puts their members first. So with all withdrawals, they're fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I get my money in as quickly as 15 minutes. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code ONEWORD Locked on MLB to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code ONEWORD Locked on MLB on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. Don't forget that you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. Well, your season basically rides on Carlos Rodon. And I'll say this, which matches exactly pretty much what I was going to say for the Cole start. This is why you give them the money that you give them. This is why Rodon got $30 million a year to go have a great start in this game. And the positives out of this game, Gerrit Cole pitched unbelievable.
Let's talk about Cole. Let's talk about this.
He was focused. You could see on his face from the start of the game. He was dialed in. He was even angry at himself in the first inning when he let that ball over the middle. You could see it on his face.
I was worried in the first inning because they were hitting the ball well off him, and then he comes back out and he retired 10 of the next 12 or whatever it was. And it was really funny because Smoltz had brought up that Cole hadn't struck out a right-handed batter in 48 at bats, something odd like that. And then he struck out 2 right-handed batters, and you didn't hear anything from Smoltz. He struck out Kike, and he struck out who else did he strike out? I can't remember who it was. You heard nothing from Smoltz. He was so happy to talk about the streak that he had.
Smoltz had a bad game too.
He had a rough game. He called him Fernando Venezuela. Are you kidding me right now? Come on, man.
I thought the point that he made when Weaver came in was stellar with 1 out. He said, if you're Luke Weaver here, you're trying to not give up any runs. Thanks, Smoltz.
Or
Appreciate
the
it.
one where
Great
if
advice.
Ohtani scores here, even if Ohtani scores here, it's tied. Well, yeah.
Thank you.
Hello?
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you for that. How much are they paying him to do these games?
A lot of money. A lot of money that he spends on a lot of golf courses.
My God. But yeah, Gerrit Cole, kudos to him. Just such a good performance. He was taken out too early, though.
You agree? So you do think that?
Yes, I think he was taken out too early.
Didn't have a problem with the move, take him out too early.
No, I thought he could have faced, I don't know. I feel like he could have pitched to 2 more guys.
I do agree with the notion that, again, you pay him $38 million a year. He's your ace. He's your horse. He stays in. I think both sides can be correct here. A lot of analytics teach you, though, high stress innings are really important when it comes to that. And the 6th inning to close out was a high stress inning. He got out of that jam, really pitched marvelous after that triple. Was marvelous getting out of that with 1 out. But it was a high stress inning. He had a lot of pitches. He did go at the base hit to lead up the 7th inning. I think they were going to go batter by batter and try to steal as many outs as they possibly could off of him. I didn't hate the move. I don't think it was a terrible move. I think it was
it wasn't a terrible move. I just didn't agree with it. I wasn't vehemently what are you doing? But I didn't really agree with it.
I get agreeing and disagreeing with that move either way. I don't think it's crazy to have either opinion on it.
Hold on, I just want to bring this up.
Yeah.
Stacey, I appreciate you trying to walk us off the ledge. I've been a fan as long as you. Who is going to be the hero for us? I have zero faith in Judge or Boone. G will do his thing and Soto will hit. I said Jazz Chisholm.
And I'll say this, Eddie. I don't want to sound mean here, but I'm going to say this before I sound mean. I'm in a bad mood, so you can excuse me here. But shame on you for saying that you don't believe in Judge or trust Judge. The guy's on his way to winning his 2nd MVP as a Yankee, his 3rd MVP as a Yankee. He hit 50-something home runs this year, 140 RBIs. He deserves your belief, even if he's slumped for the last 2 weeks. He deserves your belief. He does. But besides that, I think Clay Holmes was awful. Clay Holmes did not pitch well at all. Got out of the jam in the 7th, but really tried to make it complicated for them. Canely, I don't get why he doesn't throw a fastball. He got out of it. I don't understand though. Even if it's a fastball out of the zone just to get guys off balance, I don't understand this. It's almost like it's become like a meme for him now, where it's on every. Now he's doing it intentionally because I don't understand. Do you get it? His changeup is nice, but I don't get it. Do you know what I mean? I don't understand why you have it, and he throws hard. Yeah, he has a good fastball. I don't understand what's going on here.
I don't either.
And I thought Weaver was good.
Yeah, Weaver was good, and I don't think it was fair that he gave up that sac fly, and that kind of screwed things up for him just a little bit. But he was great. Coming in that situation,
really well, really composed too.
Yeah, and there was also sloppy plays. Allowing Ohtani to get to 3rd on that play. Soto had a little trouble getting the ball out, but what was Glaber doing at 2nd? Soto with the bad play.
I mean, Glaber, yes, baseball 101 is get your body in front of it. But also baseball 101 is the first baseman should be trailing the runner backing that play up.
True.
Rizzo wasn't doing that. And I know we love to defend Anthony Rizzo. That's a brutal play right there because neither Rizzo nor the pitcher were backing that play up.
Right.
And no one was backing it up. So that ball gets away from Glaber. It's an easy, I will say this too, and I hate to give him credit, but it's deserved. Ohtani's a brilliant baseball player.
Sure.
And that is such a smart move in that spot to know to take third base there. And he is deceptively very fast.
Yeah. Oh,
like, he is hard to double up. He's a very fast
50,
runner.
50. Hello.
Yeah.
The
diving play that was made by Edman in the middle was an incredible play. And again, Eddie, you want to go back and forth? I'm totally fine with that. That's not true, though. Like,
I don't think he looks scared. It's just, I really think that all these days off.
Stacey, Judge has home runs in the playoffs.
Sure. No, I'm saying in the first game of the playoffs or the first game of the series, because they always seem to have a layoff between the series, he looks out of sync. He doesn't look right. He's swinging at pitches that he normally doesn't swing at because he's gotten so much better at not striking out as much as he did in the beginning of his career. And so far in the playoffs, in the early games of the series, he kind of looks lost at the plate.
Agreed. But does he not deserve the benefit of the doubt, though, for what he's done for this team?
Sure. It's just, it's frustrating because we're now 2 series and a game into this. And yes, he's hit some home runs, but he's having issues with moments where you need him to really step up and do something. And he's only done it once. Because, the 1 home run, they were already winning. Fine. The home run against Class A, that was big because he tied the game with a 2-run home run. Yeah. So I'll give him that. Right. And
the home run where they were winning, like, let's be real, like look what happened to the Yankees when they only had a 1-run lead tonight. Whereas that home run put the game away. Again, that deflates Cleveland. It is a big home run.
Sure.
I don't think he's got a lot of big home runs in the postseason too. 2018, he put the Athletics out of the game in the wild card game as soon as the game started. He's giving you moments in the postseason. He is not Clayton Kershaw. He's not, and that's not fair to put him in that class. Yeah, I thought Holmes was awful. He wasn't in it at all. Canely, good, not great. And I thought Weaver was excellent. I thought Weaver was excellent. I thought he looked composed. He looked fresh. The star of the game for the Yankees is Giancarlo Stanton. It's Jazz Chisholm, and it's I'm so mad because I said Chisholm was going to be the impact player when he did what he did. I was like, I was right. Oh my goodness, I was right. And then Boone goes to Nestor, and I'm thinking he's going to ruin my prediction, and he did. It's all about me, everyone. I don't care about anything else. It's all about me and my predictions. The big play out of Jazz there too, and I think this is going to go understated, but it's very, very valuable. The big play out of Jazz was the fact that he took third base, which I was watching it with my uncle, and we were both saying if he even attempts third base here, he's an idiot. You can't get thrown out of third base here. But Muncy wasn't holding him on.
No, he wasn't.
I don't know if Muncy had a brain fart in that spot and just wasn't thinking, which, I mean, for a veteran player like that, not a good spot to have that happen. But I think it was a brain fart. And props to Jazz for noticing that and taking third base because Muncy wasn't even covering. And taking third base allowed him to score on that ground ball because Volpe wasn't getting doubled up there. So great job.
To be fair, this says Boone's handling of the bullpen last night. Handling of the bullpen lost the game, but if the Yankees can't keep leaving all these guys on base and beat the Dodgers also left a ton of guys on base as well.
Exactly. That's the point, Stacey. The Dodgers left a small village on the base. So I don't think that's a good point because the Yankees, listen, you had the lead with 2 outs to go in the 9th inning, with 1 out to go in the 9th inning, and in the 10th inning. You had the lead. Like you had it sealed. So
it was right in front of you. Doesn't Boone always say that? It's right in front of us. It was right in front of them.
Let me curse and slam a table so it looks like I care.
It was
it was right in front of them. It was because if the manager doesn't make an idiotic move like that, they don't lose the game. They don't. Sorry. And again, I know Nestor should have been in the game. The pitch selection there. I mean, Stacey, he put a ball in the sweet spot for a lefty. It was really just a terrible pitch.
Yeah. Yes. And this is the point. It's the playoffs. The Dodgers also left a ton of guys on base because you have elite pitching against elite pitching. And this is the type of series you want. The final score is a little more than it should have been with the walk-off grand slam, but this game was close. These are the types of games you want to see. Of course, you want the Yankees to win these games, and they nearly did if it wasn't for a boneheaded move from the manager. So again, I'm going to walk everyone off the ledge. They're not getting swept. They're not getting swept. I don't believe they're getting swept. Please. No, it's not happening. They're not. This may have been like a punch to the mouth, but it's not a knockout punch. Okay? So let's just, I'm going to be mom again. Calm down, please, because there's a lot of baseball in front of us. These are the two top teams in the league battling against each other. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So we'll continue this discussion, and we'll also discuss the pitching matchup more tomorrow because it's Rodon against Yamamoto.
Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season off with a big return on FanDuel. It's America's #1 sports book. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more. It's all available in the same place where you place your bets and so much more. You can obviously bet football, anything you really want on FanDuel, basketball, baseball, and if you want, at the moment, you can get the Yankees at plus 200 to win the World Series. The line has gone down because of the Game 1 loss. All of it available on FanDuel, same game parlays. It's all available wherever you want. FanDuel is the place to put your bets in. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets when you sign up right now. That's all guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. It's all available on FanDuel.com. And remember that you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. Stacey, Rodon versus Yamamoto. That's your Game 2 matchup. It is going to be the biggest start of Rodon's career by far. There is no shorting that at all.
Nope.
They will be as good as Rodon is. I mean, you're as good as your next day starter, right? And you're going to need Rodon to absolutely shove to have the best start of his career. I won't say it's must win because it's not a series until you lose a home game, but it's a pretty important game to wind up taking Game 2 after a devastating loss like this.
Yeah, sorry, I just got distracted by a dumb comment that I'm going to delete and ban the user because I have that power. I don't know. The thing that bothers me about this, I understand that Dodger Stadium can't move to a place where they can play 8:00 games and the East Coast can watch because we can't watch games at 11 o'clock at night. But I can't stand the 5 o'clock start. I just can't.
Yeah, it's awful.
With guys throwing certain pitches the way they are and with the way things are lit. And I just, I felt like they couldn't see things at first when
it's awful. It makes no sense.
Jack Flaherty was pitching. And again, they can't move Dodger Stadium to a place where they can play at 8 o'clock at night and it's okay for us to watch the game. But yeah, it's why does the West Coast exist? Just kidding.
It's a really good point. I don't get it. It makes no sense. You have people showing up at a baseball game at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Imagine if the Yankee game, if Game 3 was played at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It makes no sense. It's just frustrating. It's such an important game. Yamamoto should be on a quasi pitch count, innings count, whatever you want to call it. Really hasn't gone over 4 innings since the Yankees start that he really, half blew his arm out in June. So we'll see. Yamamoto's not going to get them much length. They did use a lot of their bullpen earlier today. All their high leverage guys were used. So it does put the Yankees at a slight advantage, but the Yankees did use all of their high leverage guys too. The only important pitcher the Yankees didn't use in this game was Tim Hill, surprisingly, the lefty specialist, when they faced 2 lefties in the 10th inning. That made sense. Other than that, you're going to need the biggest start of Rodon's career, and more than ever, you cannot afford for Carlos Rodon to have a short start because your bullpen long relief guy was brought in the 10th inning for no reason.
Right. One note, please do not use certain words in the chat. I had just had to delete a comment because the R word was used. Don't use that word, please. Thank you very much, because I will just delete comments that have offensive words in them. So don't do that. Don't do that. I was joking about the West Coast. By the way, every time I go to Southern California, I want to move out there. And I very nearly did. When I was being laid off from NBC, the guys at KNBC were like, you should move out here. We'll make a job for you so you can come out here. And I was like, I don't drive. I can't live in LA without a car. But otherwise I would have. But every time I go to Southern California, I want to move out there. So I actually love... No, I don't mean that word, Steph. It was the other word that you used with the R that I'm not going to repeat. Just don't say it.
Rodon. I don't like that. The backdrop at Dodger Stadium is unbelievable. Every time you see it, it's incredible. It's such a perfect stadium. It just seems like they start getting.
Have you been there?
I have.
Me too.
It's an amazing place.
Yeah. Went there 22 years ago. Watched the Dodgers play the Diamondbacks. My brother heckled the Diamondbacks bullpen because we were sitting right next to it in right field. And we walked in at the top behind home plate because my friend wanted us to see the view from that level. And then we walked all the way down, like 7 stories down to the bottom of the stadium. I don't know how it is now because I haven't been there since 2002, but the whole lower level was food and I didn't know what to do with myself. I ended up having a greasy Carl's Jr. burger that was just fantastic. I love juicy, gross fast food, and I was just in my glory. And I think the Dodgers won, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it was an experience.
I'm in an angry mood, so I'm gonna lean in a little bit. Do not sit here and act like because you're older than me that I can't watch history in baseball, that I don't know what happened in previous series, because you did not watch Mickey Mantle play and you still know how good he was in the postseason. So you don't get to sit here and tell me that I'm not valued of an opinion, or I don't get to give you an opinion, or I don't have perspective because I didn't watch Mo, Jeter, Andy, Bernie, Matsui in the postseason. By the way, I did watch that postseason. I was alive in 2009. I saw Matsui win a playoff MVP. I love how you lost all credibility to me because you didn't mention A-Rod, who won them that World Series, but you left him out of there because A-Rod has this he stinks in the postseason reputation that he also doesn't deserve. There's plenty of players in baseball history who are incredible players who haven't performed in the postseason, a la Clayton Kershaw. Clayton Kershaw is going to waltz into the Hall of Fame on the first ballot without a question, and Clayton Kershaw is one of the worst postseason pitchers of all time. That you do not need to be an all-time unbelievable postseason player to earn anybody's respect or to have perspective when it comes to the postseason. And let's please, for the love of God, stop acting like Aaron Judge has never had a hit in the playoffs. Has he struggled? Absolutely. He's also had massive moments in the playoffs. And Aaron Judge was a home run in the 9th inning tonight away from you forgetting every single bad hit that he's had. So lay off, please. And please, for the love of it, I'll argue with you all you want. And I wish I was still on live radio so you could rebuttal back to me. But do not sit here and use my age as a reason for why I don't get to have a valued opinion. That's ridiculous.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at other Oh. Really?
Yeah.
I have the 1949 World Series on an old cassette tape that my dad got me for my 13th, but that's awesome though. I would love to hear that.
Really cool and really great, but you know what? You don't get to have an opinion on those players because you didn't watch it.
What's it called? I just totally lost my thought. I'm so sorry. I'm so tired. I was so stressed out that my resting heart rate was over 120 again, and my watch was like, "Are you okay? Because it seems you're sitting down, but your heart rate is elevated." It's like I want to program it and be like, "It's just the playoffs. It's just how my heart rate works during the playoffs." I did not miss. This feeling.
It would have been an all-time incredible game to watch as a regular baseball fan, but the fact that you were watching it as a Yankee fan made it awful.
Yep, it's I was actually thinking that. I was thinking to myself, this is so much better than the Dodgers-Mets series, just because the game was closer up until the very end. And that's what the point I was trying to make earlier is that when you're a person who's watching the World Series as an outsider, you want to see games like this. It's not fun for us on the losing end. And it's also stressful for the winning team before they actually win. Like, that was a stressful game for both fan bases.
It was tough.
But if you're a neutral, like, remember the Red Sox Dodgers marathon game in 2018? As Max an outsider, that was incredible. Like, you've never seen anything like it in your life. But as a fan of the two teams playing, this is too much for me. But this, again, we're on the losing end. We don't like the way they lost. But these are the types of games you want in the World Series. You don't want blowouts. You don't want one team to win. I mean, obviously, we probably want the Yankees to win like a 12-0 game, but that's boring in the World Series. You kind of want a clash of the two best teams, like Rocky and Apollo, Rocky and Clubber Lang, Rocky and Drago.
Be grateful as a Yankee fan this happened in Game 1 and it didn't happen in Game 5, because this is a type of loss. If this was a 2-2 series in Game 5 going back to LA, this would have changed the series.
Sure. And they have, the thing about it, it's a 7-game series. They have time to recover from this. We've seen worse from the Yankees in World Series, starting off. I mean, 96 was a different team. They were playing a different team, but going down 0-2 and being outscored, 16-1 heading into Fulton County Stadium, that looked so dire that people were like, well, all right, great. People's attitude was, well, at least they made the World Series because they haven't done that since 1981. And then they came back and won the next 4. So you never know what's going to happen.
All about perspective.
Yeah. So you never know. I'm just going to keep deleting and banning the people who are coming in from, you can be, you don't have to be obnoxious winners and saying really awful things like the F word. Like, don't do that. It's not nice. Yeah, look, I'm old and I was watching YouTubers reacting to Rocky 3 because I wanted to see how they reacted to Mickey dying. Spoiler alert, but the movie came out 42 years ago. And all of them were crying, which I thought was amazing. I was like, oh, the younger generation gets it. They get it. I saw that movie in the theater. I was 8 years old and I was crying when Mickey died. So I get it. So Rodon, Yamamoto, Game 2, 8:08 start. And guess what? Guess where we'll be after Game 2?
Right damn here.
Right here. Brian might be in a different place though, right? Aren't you at your uncle's house?
Yeah, I'm always in different places, but I'll be on the computer.
Okay. So, so tomorrow, 8:08 start, probably midnight, depending on how the game ends. Hopefully it doesn't go, God, I hope it's not another extra inning game. I really, I don't think my heart rate can take that. But yeah, another live stream tomorrow night. And then Sunday will be off. So that'll be good for all of us, for our heart rates and for our anxiety and everything else. So thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. Check out the Locked On MLB podcast. Sully is covering the World Series as well. He is also on 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. The link to Locked On MLB is in the description, so you don't need to search. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And make sure you check out the Locked On Yankees postcast right here on the Locked On Yankees podcast feed, as well as streaming on the Locked On Sports New York YouTube channel. Get rapid reaction to all the biggest moments with the Locked On Yankees postcast. So that'll do it for this live edition of Locked On Yankees. Thank you all for joining us. I'm sorry it wasn't a celebratory stream, but hopefully Saturday nights will be.